of the Church of Christ or Iglesia ni Cristo.
Good morning and welcome to INCRadio Washington, D.C. Satellite Studio. I am your host, Brother Vince Fortes from the locale Baltimore, and today we have a special broadcast as we prepare for the upcoming Mr. and Mrs. Chef Bbq Edition. With me today are contestants who will be competing in this competition. So without further ado, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, my name is Brother Glenn from the locale of Washington, D.C. I'm a choir member as well as a TSV officer.
Hello, good morning. My name is Sister Lizelle Cadosale. I'm also from the locale of Washington, D.C., and I am a finance officer as well as a media officer.
Thank you so much.
Sorry.
Good morning, no worries. But thank you so much for joining us today, especially to talk about an activity that is happening pretty soon. In fact, what is happening on October 27, 2024?
So what's happening on October 27th is Mr. and Mrs. Chef Bbq Edition. So we're excited to participate in that and definitely show what we got.
Yes, very true. And also, you know, Mr. and Mrs. Chef, it's been around for quite a while. And this is actually really special because this is Bbq Edition, something that I'm really interested in because I love barbecue. Coming from Texas and also and then also moving from California as well. There's so many things about barbecue that has yet to be explored, and there's so many different kinds of ways to actually have it. And so, you know, I want to ask, how many years have you practiced your craft in barbecue?
Well, I don't barbecue as much, but I've only barbecued like, you know, a couple of times. But I do like to linger around the grill when people are barbecuing. So I learn from them. I see their techniques and all that. But other than like barbecuing, does Korean barbecue count too? You know,
Yes, that counts.
we like going to those
that's still barbecue.
restaurants. So I have a lot of experience in that.
And then for myself, I've been barbecuing maybe 5 or 6 years, on and off. So
that's perfect. I love hearing that. And you know what? Korean barbecue is and does count. It has the word barbecue in it. So I say that counts because you're grilling. It may be an indoor grill, but it's still a grill nonetheless. So you're grilling regardless. And for you, Brother Glenn, to be able to barbecue for 5 years is amazing as well. I don't think I've been barbecuing that long. But you know, in terms of this activity, it's very important to have that kind of craft. And here with these photos and videos, I see that you are very skilled in barbecuing. Look at the flips. They're amazing. But you know, for this activity, considering it is the Bbq Edition, like, have you ever participated in this kind of activity before?
We haven't participated in Mr. and Mrs. Chef before because we just got married this year. So this will be like our first competition together, cooking competition together. But I have participated in like a local cooking competition before, but it wasn't barbecue. So yeah, that was my only experience with that.
So we do have chefs here. This is nice. We do have, even if it's not in the particular craft of barbecue, you're still a chef, so you know a lot of things. So this is going to be a very interesting competition. But speaking of the competition, speaking of the activity, how are you preparing for it?
well, it's a lot of trial and error. As of right now, we're still trying to figure out what exactly is our dish going to be composed of. And once we do actually figure that out, we do plan on doing trial and error, hosting people to come over just to try it, give us their intake, so that, you know, we can see what else we need to work on before we actually present it on the 27th.
Wow, so you have people who you're testing your dishes on before that's smart. That's very smart.
Oh yeah, we have a lot of friends who like to be taste testers. So,
So if you watch this, now you know.
So, what made you decide to be part of this activity?
Well, when they first announced it in one of the district officers meeting, and they mentioned barbecue, I like looked right away to like Glenn wherever he was in the congregation, and then I was like, I want to
Yeah.
participate.
She said first we're going, and then next thing you know, she said no, we're joining. So
Oh, so we're not eating the barbecue; we're cooking the barbecue.
yeah, I was there for the food, but I don't mind barbecuing also just for everyone to try.
That's good. And even though you're cooking, you could still taste, especially like tasting the other contestants' barbecue at the same time. So you're doing a little bit of both. You get the best of both worlds. Cooking it and also trying it as well. So that's a perfect combination. I'm excited considering this is your first time, your first competition, being able to, as a couple as well, being able to cook together. I feel that's kind of the cool thing about this activity, because you're sharing a competition, especially when it comes to this activity, being able to cook together. And speaking of your cooking experience, particularly your barbecue experience, how is your barbecue different from others that you have tried?
Well, for us, actually, we're going to be showcasing Chamorro style barbecue. We do come from the island of Guam, or I've lived there for about a good portion of my life, and Lizelle has lived there a lot longer than I have.
Yeah, I live in the Mariana Islands my whole life until
Right.
I left for, after college. So
Yeah, so not a lot of people know the Chamorro, I guess, Chamorro style barbecue, which is, the beachside island life party style barbecue. So we're excited to showcase that on the competition on the 27th, and just for everyone to try it, because not a lot of people know about Chamorro cuisine.
mhm.
I've never tried Chamorro cuisine. I would love to try that. I've never tried it. I've never been to Guam, and I know they have a lot of different cultures there in terms of, especially when they cook their food, different tastes, different flavors, and I've never tried it. So it'd be really, really cool to implement that, especially here in the States. I don't think there's any restaurants here that are related to Guam that I know of.
Not much on the East Coast. There's more on the West
On the
Coast.
West Coast?
Yeah.
Yeah. Even if there's more on the West Coast, I still have not tried it because I've been on the West Coast. I still have not tried it yet. So that's really interesting. I want to try that. That'd be really, really nice to bring to the table, especially, I think the ones like in terms of flavors when it comes to the East Coast, the only flavors here are kind of related to more of the Cajun style or the smoked style kind of barbecue. So it's really nice to bring something new and something that nobody has ever tried. So that'd be really, really nice to see. I'm glad you have that kind of different aspect when it comes to barbecue. I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'm actually rooting for you.
Yeah, so you
Considering
should
it's your
come
first
down
time.
and also, to the Mr. and Mrs. Chef activity and try it out.
Yes, I
So
would love
you
to
can
try
see
it
for
out.
yourself.
So besides, the chamorro flavor, that's what you're trying to go for. Have you tried other Texas barbecue from different parts of the world?
Yeah, we tried Texan barbecue. I really like the what's that called? The Southwest barbecue ribs that
Oh
you
yes,
usually
yes, I
get
know
from
what you
the
mean.
restaurants.
Carolina Gold.
Yeah.
We've also tried satay from from Thailand.
Mhm.
That's a really good one. I always love the peanut sauce, so I always make sure to get that whenever we go to a Thai restaurant.
Yeah, and the typical Korean barbecue, also the Japanese barbecue restaurants that we like to go to. Um,
I really love that because I'm from Texas. Texan barbecue and Southwestern barbecue is kind of paying homage to where I live, because that's the barbecue that I grew up with. The fall off the bone, slow cooked barbecue, because when you slow cook it, it's a lot easier for it to come off because the fat is slowly going away instead of it being instead of being charred. But not all of it, not all of
Mhm.
it's charred, so it falls off easily. I'm glad you like that kind of barbecue. That's like, thank you.
yeah, I mean it is delicious.
Yeah. But yeah, that's how I do it too. When it comes to the part of the world that I live in, that's the kind of barbecue that I'm very used to. So coming from the West Coast, trying their barbecue, and then going into the East Coast now and trying their barbecue, it's very interesting to see everyone's take on how barbecue is made. And now I'm gonna get to try something that I've never tried at all. Barbecue from Guam. So I've never tried. So this is gonna be very, very interesting. Thank you for sharing that. And then for Thai, I totally understand. Thai food is amazing. They make spicy barbecue too. So and it pairs well with peanut sauce. I really need a new peanut sauce recipe, by the way. I want to, because I really want to try it with like the actual authentic peanut sauce that you get at a Thai restaurant. Speaking of, we've talked a lot about what kind of barbecue you're going to make, and we talked about the different kinds of barbecue that you've tried. And there's a lot of technique that comes to that, from smoking to grilling to the marinade even. So what kind of techniques / cuisines do you incorporate into your barbecue recipes?
So a lot of our techniques, honestly, we don't use a lot of technique. It's more of just watching the grill, and I guess it's a lot of patience going into it, just making sure that we are keeping our level head when there's a lot of stuff going on. Like you just mentioned, there was a lot like marinades, cutting, preparing the dish, and preparing the side dishes. So I guess for our techniques, it's just making sure that we keep a level head when we are preparing all of this, just so that we don't miss anything.
Yeah, and then pretty much, yeah, also going off what Brother Glenn said, just learning to keep her cool even though it gets hot there in the by the grill.
Yes, it's gonna
But
get really hot on the grill.
pretty much like, we love to cook, so it's just whatever we learn and whatever we've seen from and watched from others. That's how we're going to incorporate it, into our grilling style.
I love that, and you're so right. When it comes to technique, sometimes it just has to come from the heart. There is no technique. That is the technique, coming from the heart and being able to cook something that everybody will love to enjoy and it like warms you. So I totally agree with that. And
Yeah.
that is a definite skill when it comes to barbecue, being able to convey that in your cooking. And speaking of skills, what do you think is a key skill that you need when it comes to barbecue?
Ooh, so that's a good one. That's a great question. For myself, like I just mentioned earlier, it's patience, learning when to turn your meat. Because honestly, you don't want to turn it too early, because you won't get that perfect char. Or if you turn it too late, it's not even char anymore. It's burnt. So having that patience to know when to turn over your meat, when to bring it back into the marinade and put it back on the fire, just to make sure that you keep that juicy barbecue. I think that's the one of the bigger skills that you need to have, especially when you are on a time crunch with this competition. It's just knowing when to put it on the fire and when to take it off of the fire.
Yeah, and it's also making sure you're able to marinate it well, but also once you're done grilling, you know how to pair that barbecue well with something else. So, yeah.
I agree with both of you. Having that key skill to be patient enough to make sure to not flip it too early or not flip it too late. That takes so much skill and prep time to understand and practice. And I totally agree with that. And obviously, you're not going to have barbecue alone. Even though barbecue itself is meat, so you can have it alone, it's nice to have it with something that can balance it out. Because, barbecue is heavy. It's meat. It makes sense to have something on the side. So if you don't have something on the side, over time you're gonna feel a little bit groggy. So you need something on top of it to balance it out. I totally agree with that. And you're right. Being able to be patient and wait is such a hard thing to do, especially with a competition like this where you could be timed. So to be able to make sure that your meat is at the right temperature is such a big skill. And I'm glad you mentioned that because it's so true. And especially when it comes to barbecue, sometimes it's not as forgiving, especially when you might actually burn it by accident if you wait too long.
That's true.
Yeah, and speaking of the meats, sometimes it does take. There's some meats that take longer, and there's some meats that don't take long at all to cook. Speaking of your types of meats, what is your favorite type of meat to grill / cook when it comes to barbecue, and why?
Well, for myself, what I really like using is pork because of how versatile it is. Depending on what cut you do get from the pork, it definitely changes the flavor and enhances the flavor, depending on your marinade. So I really like pork in that aspect where you have so many different cuts to utilize in your kind of barbecue that you're going to be doing.
And I also like, aside from pork, what I like to grill a lot too is our seafood. Um, especially living by the sea, even here, in Maryland, in the East Coast, we have a lot of seafood. So like being able to grill that, I think is also very easy and not as forgiving maybe, but then you can do a lot with it, and it's just so delicious. And plus it's quicker to cook too.
I'm glad you mentioned seafood because nobody really mentions seafood when it comes to barbecuing or grilling. All they ever mention is the other kinds of meats: pork, chicken, beef, like all the other
Yeah,
kinds
we
of like
love our
meat.
seafood.
Yeah, so to mention seafood is crazy because the people don't really think of that. They don't think about shrimp. They don't think about you can grill oysters. People don't know that, but you can grill oysters as well. So it's like to be able to think of that is really nice. And wow, I hope you incorporate that somehow into into the competition to somehow to incorporate seafood. But yes, pork, I totally agree. Pork is very, very versatile. It has a lot of fat in it. So that way, you can cook it a little bit longer or shorter, depending on the kind of meat that you have. And also, pork is very, very forgiving when it comes to cooking it. For beef, not as much because it could get tough. But pork, you can leave it on there for a little bit longer and it'll still taste amazing and chewy and savory. We actually have a few comments already that are actually asking what their favorite kind of barbecue is. So I'd like to mention that before we continue. From Len Dulai, she says, my favorite barbecue is a Filipino style barbecue. from, from Michelle Santos, she says, I love Hawaiian barbecue. And then from Starlight Samhika, she says, my favorite kind of barbecue is Korean barbecue and Filipino barbecue. And from Brother Ivan Tibieri, he says, my favorite type of barbecue is Filipino barbecue, and you can get it in the it's Filipino barbecue you can get in the street. Oh, you like that kind of barbecue? I totally understand. I agree. But yes, and I totally agree when it comes to the going back to your skills and the type of meat that you like. I totally agree when it comes to pork. It makes sense. When it comes to pork, it is one of the most versatile things to cook. There are fatty meats, and then there are white meats that you can try as well. And if you want to go for a little bit healthier in terms of your barbecue. And speaking of your barbecue, there are also not just the ways, like the types of meat that you have, but the way you prepare it too. So do you prefer to skewer your barbecue, slice it into like patties, or do you prefer to have it like a steak cut, like a whole slab when you're cooking it?
Well, for us, when we would grill all the time in Guam, and even when I do it here, sometimes at a friend's house, actually we like it as portions. So what we call it is a party style, where it's just grab and go, pretty much, where it's just that it's the size that's perfect for you to eat, and it's already ready for you, so that literally instead of us having to cut it or put it on, it's just put it right on your plate. And we like using our hands when we're eating barbecue and just have at it.
Oh, so kind of like a finger style kind of barbecue. So where it's not necessarily like a huge slab that you have to cut with a knife and then, poke it with a fork.
Finger licking good barbecue.
Finger licking good barbecue. I love that. I love that. Finger licking good barbecue. That is so nice to hear, especially, because I've always seen people use skewers when barbecuing. Because it's easier, you just like flip it. But for you, that makes more sense considering all you have to use is tongs, and you don't have to worry about the prep time of actually skewering the barbecue beforehand when cooking. Is there a reason why you'd rather do that? Is it because it's faster for you, like cooking wise?
Yeah, I think it's faster, and also whenever we are cooking, it's just literally placed on a foil tin, like those really big foil tin party trays. So the second it's off the grill, we don't have to worry about, hey, can you just cut this piece off for me, or hey, can you just give me a little bit bigger, or a little bit smaller. They're already portioned for
it's
literally
ready to serve,
put it in your mouth
eat.
and just eat, right? So that's why we like doing it like that. So it literally is just like how it is in a party, where you just are having fun, and then you're just eating really quickly and then having fun again. So that's why we like putting it on a smaller portion, or even just bite size, ready for you to just nibble on.
Yeah, also because once like the barbecue starts going and the meats start going on the grill, people smell that and they're just like waiting already to like try it and get a piece of it. So once it's out of the fire, it's already into their mouths.
I love that, and you are so right when it comes to cooking, because sometimes it takes a while to bite into those, especially if it's a big slab. So
Mhm.
yeah, I totally agree. And now that we've talked about a little bit how you're going to grill and what you're going to do, I like to ask, and I don't want you to give your secrets away because this is a competition. So, what is one of your signature marinades in your recipe without giving it away?
Okay. Well, I will not give away any of our recipes, but I will let you know that in the island of Guam, or the Chamorro style barbecue, it does focus on soy sauce. So it will be a soy sauce based barbecue, and we will also incorporate some of our own style that we've tried over the years, that we like to incorporate it as well. So soy sauce is going to be a main component, and then there is also going to be one other main component, but we won't let you know because it will definitely be a game changer for us when we showcase it.
Yeah, and I guess it also depends on the secret ingredient, whatever is given to us on that day. So we're
Yes.
so curious but nervous about that.
I love it. I love it. And I can't wait to hear what you guys will have and taste what you guys will have on the day of the competition. And before we go, there's one last question I'd like to ask, and is, what do you hope to convey / express with your barbecue?
Well, the reason why we wanted to do, Chamorro barbecue, it's because it really takes us home, especially for me growing up living in the island of Saipan, moving to Guam too, which is like, within the Mariana Islands. That's all I've ever known. And just being able to share that with the brethren here, of the delicious taste of like, island cuisine. And Glenn, like having moved there and being able to try it, and he loves it too. So it speaks for itself. And so we hope that all the brethren and the judges get to enjoy the Chamorro Island barbecue.
And definitely, because it's also for us, not a lot of people know, but like barbecue can be a comfort food, especially
Yeah.
when, again, like when we're away from home or we're away from the island. For us to be able to eat it again really brings us comfort, and so
Yes.
we hope that warmth and that feeling of when we're cooking it, and hopefully listening to us cook and have that island music in the background, will definitely make you feel comforted and enjoy what we're presenting that on that day.
It'll feel like summer during fall, let's just say.
I love that. Thank you so much for telling us what you want to convey in your barbecue. And I wish you the best of luck on the competition at Mr. and Mrs. Chef Barbecue Edition. Before we leave, do you have any special greetings that you'd like to give?
Oh yes, real quick, I just want to give a shout out to my parents who are back there in Saipan in the district of Mariana Islands. Hello, good night. I know you're sleeping right now. And then also to my brother in the Philippines. He's also probably sleeping, maybe. And then my sister who is in Massachusetts. Hello, good morning. And to all the brethren there in the local congregation of Washington D.C. Hello po, and to our friends here as well. Hi, and we hope you guys are watching. Thank you for tuning in.
And I will like to do a special shout out to my parents and my sister who are currently in Oregon. I'm sorry that you guys are not going to be here on October 27th, because we're going to really cook some really good food and barbecue. So uh, we miss you guys and we love you.
Thank you so much for your shout outs. And let's go ahead and check out some of the greetings on our YouTube chats. So from Amelia Salazar, she says, belated happy birthday to Sister Sarah Gonzalez of Temple Hills. Happy birthday. From Brother Audric Dulai, he says, shout out to all of the Mr. and Mrs. Chefs on October 27. Have fun and looking forward to the delicious barbecue. From Brother Lendagala, he says, shout outs to all of the brethren in Baltimore and Harrisburg, GWS, and all of the brethren in Washington, D.C. From from Sister Landulay, she says, advanced happy birthday to our assistant district minister, Brother Richard Soteria po, God bless. Greetings to his family too po. Happy advanced birthday po. And from Brother Lendagal as well, advanced happy birthday to Todd Richard po. And we also have a little bit of questions that were in the chat. What was your favorite barbecue? What is your favorite, or which is better, pork barbecue or beef barbecue? We wanted to ask some of you. And from Jana Gonzalez, she says pork barbecue is better. From Bbq she says, I like grilled squid. So not one of the options at all. It will be grilled squid. From Sister Gian Tobier, she says, I love Filipino barbecue, isaw. Well, so again, not one of the pork or beef. And then from Christina Lazaro, she says pork barbecue for me. And then from Brother Ivan, he says, I like beef barbecue because I think it absorbs flavors, which allows for more complex flavors. I totally agree. And as we said before, the upcoming activity that we're going to have is the Mr. and Mrs. Chef Barbecue Edition on October 27, 2024. Be there so that way you can try some of the amazing barbecue, especially from our contestants here today, as well as the other contestants in the around the district. And before we go, let's go ahead and check out what is happening next week on INCRadio, Washington, D.C.
Sibling relationships, we can learn so much from them. There's love, growth, respect, understanding, support, and the list goes on. Join us on October 19, 2024 at 9 a.m. Eastern Time, where we discuss Relationship Reflections, Sibling Edition, here on INCRadio, Washington, D.C. Satellite Studio. See you there.
Following us today is INCRadio Florida at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time. And for their unstoppable support, we'd like to thank our INCRadio Washington, D.C. family for supporting our broadcast, especially to our SEBC President, Brother Angelo Manalo, and of course, a very special greeting to our Executive Minister of the Iglesianicristo Church of Christ, Brother Eduardo V. Manalo. Thank you for tuning into our INCRadio Washington, D.C. Satellite Studio. Stay unstoppable.
Before and after I eat, I wash my hands. Here is how my mom taught me to do. First, wet your hands with clean running water and apply soap. Then lather your hands by rubbing them together with soap. Scrub your hands between your fingers and under your nails. Scrub your hands for approximately 30 seconds. Rinse your hands under clean running warm water. And dry your hands using a clean towel or air dry them.
And here's how I brush my teeth as my mom taught me. Brushing your teeth after every meal or at least twice a day is another hygiene habit that everyone should have. Brushing your teeth is an important part of your dental care routine and help to prevent gum disease. Hi, I'm Katie Natividad. My mom taught me that before going to bed and after waking up in the morning, I should wash my face. I comb my hair every day so it always looks good. And I make sure my clothes are clean before I go to bed. Good night.
But it is right to show kindness.
This is INCRadio, DCEM 954, the voice of truth, the official radio station of the Church of Christ or Iglesia ni Cristo.
Forever I can see